How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and like I've said before, if you're on Verizon, you've got a lot of different options to choose from when it comes to 4G LTE handsets. You've got ice cream sandwich enabled devices. You have devices with QWERTY keyboards, with high resolution displays, with great cameras, with big batteries, and more. But you know what we do in PhoneDog land when we're trying to decide which one's the best for everybody, which one kind of has all those specs that everybody wants and everybody needs? We do a dogfight. That's what we do. So I've got two new ones with me today. The Samsung Galaxy Nexus that's available now for $299.99, and it's packing a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core processor. It's the only device right now to launch with Android 4.0, also known as Ice Cream Sandwich. Then I have the Motorola DROID 4 over here. 1.2 gigahertz dual-core processor, 8 megapixel camera, a little bit smaller 4-inch display, and it's packing gingerbread. But what it does have that the Galaxy Nexus doesn't have, pretty awesome physical QWERTY keyboard. Which one's the best? We're going to find out right now in just a second, my friends. But first, some love to Best Buy Mobile, because they hook us up with phones like this for use in our One Paw Bandit game that you can win on PhoneDog.com. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, regardless of which phone you get, they'll help you walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web, your camera settings, your call settings. So when you walk out the door, the phone's ready to go. You don't have to waste time setting up anything. At Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. Let's take a look. Is the Galaxy Nexus with Ice Cream Sandwich the must-have device? Or is it this one with Android 2.3 and an 8 megapixel camera? We'll find out starting right now. Two more 4G LTE devices available on Verizon right now. You've got the Samsung Galaxy Nexus over here, and this is kind of the flagship device in a lot of ways for Verizon Wireless, between this and Motorola's DROID Razr Max. This thing is retailing for $299.99 with a 2-year agreement. Of course, you can find it cheaper through third-party retailers, Wirefly, Let's Talk, Amazon, etc. Best Buy Mobile does deals as well from time to time. But at Verizon corporate stores and online at VerizonWireless.com, you're going to find it for $299.99. Now, the real notable thing here is this is the first retail device in the U.S. to support Android 4.0, also known as Ice Cream Sandwich. And save for a few Verizon pre-installed applications, it's a stock build of Android 4.0. So no carrier customizations here. What you're seeing is actual Android 4.0. So this is running, spec-wise, 1.2 gigahertz dual-core TI OMAP processor. It's got a 4.65-inch Super AMOLED HD display that obviously has 1280 by 720 pixels. So you've got 720 pixels over here. It says HD display with 16.7 million colors, and it's a Super AMOLED HD. It has a 5 megapixel camera, which, you know, when this thing was announced and launched in the States, we were all kind of like, yeah, why not go with an 8 megapixel camera, considering that, you know, high-end device here, most other high-end devices have 8 megapixels. I will say the shutter speed's very fast in this, and we'll find out more in part 2 of the video, but it does pack 1080p HD video recording and, of course, flash as well. Front-facing camera, and it's available on Verizon Wireless, and it's running Verizon's 4G LTE network. So you can see, again, stock Android build here, but you've got a lot of differences here. If you're coming from Gingerbread, you're coming from Froyo, Eclair, some older build of Android, and you're migrating up to this, it's a little bit of a difference. You know, you're going to notice color scheme changes, you're going to notice a dock change down here and how it looks, you're going to notice the apps icon, and you're also going to notice the on-screen buttons as opposed to the capacitive buttons we see on older Android, or I shouldn't say older Android devices. This is actually newer than the Galaxy Nexus, but it's still packing Android 2.3 with kind of an older layout. But you notice when I turn it off, the buttons go away. There are no on-screen, or no capacitive buttons rather, anymore. But design-wise, got a nice curved display, and it's got a good look to it as well. 1,850 milliamp hour battery in this. That's 100 milliamp hours more than the GSM equivalent of the Galaxy Nexus, and it's a little bit thicker as well. But still, curved display. You got your power button on the left, on the right side. Your volume rocker on the left. You got your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack at the bottom with your micro USB charging port, and then again a nice little design theme here. And of course, you can get a larger 2,100 milliamp hour battery from Verizon, and actually they're offering them half off right now. Then you have the Motorola DROID 4 over here. This is the newest QWERTY device from Verizon, and it's a member of the original DROID line. I'm pressing all kinds of buttons here. A member of the original DROID lineup, and it's packing a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core TI OMAP processor, a 4-inch QHD display. It's got an 8 megapixel camera on the back with 1080p HD video recording as well, a front-facing camera, and then you've got, again, that 4-inch display. So a little bit smaller than 4.65 inches over here. You know, and comparing them side by side, you can really see the difference as well. And I'll show you And just a second, let me pull the Galaxy Nexus back out here so you can take a look at it. 4.65-inch display here. Much, when you're doing content like YouTube browsing, you're looking at music videos, things like that, browsing the web, you really notice a difference over here on 4.65 inches as opposed to 4. But still, you do get the benefit of a physical QWERTY keyboard. Now, to give you a recap of the weight here, you're looking at about 6.31 ounces over here. So a little bit thicker, but it's still got that typical Motorola form factor. Now, interestingly enough, the battery is not able to be removed on the Droid 4. They're going that non-removable style along with the Droid Razr Max and the Droid Razr. It's packing a non-removable 1,785 milliamp hour battery. Power button, 3.5mm headphone jack on top. Put your volume rocker on the right side and your capacitive buttons down here below the display, menu, home, back, and search. Also 5 home screens over here, but you see Motorola's custom user interface running atop Android 2.3. So you get a little bit of a different appearance here, different look and feel, and we'll go into apps and take a look as well. Now, because this is built as a stock Android device, it's supposed to be a stock Android experience device. You'll see, of course, the Verizon 4G LTE logo, which big stink was made about that when it was first launched. People were like, this is supposed to be a stock device, it shouldn't have a Verizon logo. So you're going to see two things, and if you're a die-hard Android purist, you're probably going to be frustrated. That, and then of course the Verizon applications that come pre-installed. You don't get a whole lot out of the box. And again, you're going to see the menu change here where apps and widgets are all available in one easy to find place. Then you've got your link to the Android market up there, now known as Google Play. So I'm assuming that icon's going to change at some point. This one ironically has not rolled over to Google Play, which is the new branding scheme for Google's market strategy. You can see over here, this one has switched over to Google Play, so you can access the Play Store. So it's Android market, no real changes there. You can still access the same stuff, and we'll talk about that more in part 2. But over here, you'll see that it's still showing Android market, and I'm assuming that icon will change as well. But let's take a look at the Verizon stuff. My Verizon Mobile, and then of course down here, visual voicemail and VZ Backup. Actually, visual voicemail, I'll take that back. That does not come pre-installed. VZ Backup Assistant and my Verizon Mobile do, and they're unable to be uninstalled. So those are on the device. They're on the device to stay. You can remove them, you can hide them. You can hide the applications, but you can't remove them. And so for people that really want that stock Android experience, they were a little bit annoyed by that. Over here, you do get some more Verizon stuff out of the box, and we'll go straight to Verizon Wireless so you can take a look. VCast apps, device setup, emergency alerts, IM, mobile hotspot, MOG music, my Verizon Mobile, Verizon Video, Slingbox, the VCast stuff, VZ Navigator, and visual voicemail, which I downloaded over here, and it's available on this one for $2.99 per month. So it is an additional charge from Verizon. Again, shortcut to the Google Play Store up there as well. It's hard to say Google Play. I'm so used to saying Android Market. But anyway, you get that, and then you get some pre-installed games. Now, the only caveat here, the pre-installed games can actually be uninstalled. And I like this little shortcut that you can get in Motorola's UI here, where you can just press and hold and uninstall Let's Golf 2, for example, and it's uninstalled. So pretty easy to use. But, of course, there's a lot of Verizon bloatware. A lot of us don't need that, myself included, and AT&T and Sprint have been pretty good about listening to their customers and saying, well, yeah, you don't want this, we'll let you uninstall it. Not the case with Verizon. Those are on there and on the device to stay. So let's take a look at messaging here. And, again, actually, before we get into that, I want to show you the differences between, or some of the key differences at least, between Gingerbread, Android 2.3, and then Ice Cream Sandwich, Android 4.0. So first of all, you press and hold here, and this is the typical Android setup that we've seen in the past. We've seen widgets, shortcuts, folders, and wallpapers. You get the option to do all that from the home screen. Over here, a little bit different. You just see wallpaper options. Now, the way to get to widgets, go to Menu, and again, you have to scroll through your applications, or you can just click up top, and here are the widgets. Now, much like a typical Google rollout, there aren't really any exciting widgets. So the one that I really do like, the Gmail widget. So we'll take a look here. We're going to press and hold that, and we're going to bring it out to one of the home screens, one of the 5 home screens, and I'm going to bring it over here. And this is a great thing that I've seen them bring in from Honeycomb. It's a dynamic widget, so I can come over here and resize, and they've given us the ability to resize a lot of the widgets. So we're going to just make it take up the full screen. We're going to back out of that, and then from this actual widget, I can scroll up and down through my inbox and have kind of a dynamic widget on the home screen. That's a big pro, and again, a lot of the Google stuff, actually it's up here now. A lot of the Google stock widgets on Ice Cream Sandwich can be customized, which is something I've previously given a lot of praise to on the Motorola side, because most of the Motorola widgets can be customized as well. So coming here to date and time, for example, and we'll look at the clock style. I can bring this one up to the top, and I can customize and change around the size of it as well. Now you can do that on a lot of the widgets on TouchWiz version 4.0 HTC Sense is the one that you still can't do that with, at least in its present form. But yeah, I've given a lot of praise to Motorola because I think you have an area like this, for example, where there's some widget or some screen space left. There's not a whole lot of screen space left, and for those people like myself, there's a little bit of space left. You can kind of customize a widget and make it your own and fit it in that area, as opposed to not being able to fit anything there because the widgets are too large or too small. And again, you can do the same thing here with the calendar widget. I can make it larger or smaller on my 5 home screens. That's a big perk as well, and one of the biggest changes in Ice Cream Sandwich. Then of course you have this button down here which shows your running applications, and to get those out of the list I can just swipe through and remove those, or I can scroll up and down through those. So it's pretty quick and easy to use. Otherwise, pretty similar layout with your Google search bar up top, though it does look a little bit different than the Google search bars we've seen in the past. Let's take a look at messaging on both of these, because out of the box you only get one keyboard over here. You get the Ice Cream Sandwich keyboard, which I actually have manipulated or put on a bunch of my devices, and I can show you if I have one handy. Let's do this one, for example, the Galaxy S2. You can see the Ice Cream Sandwich keyboard on other gingerbread devices. I've enjoyed it so much that I've actually brought it over to some of my other devices like the Galaxy S2, Galaxy S2 Skyrocket, because it is a really great keyboard, and you could download similar devices or similar keyboards in the Android market, or now known as Google Play market, so Google Play Store rather. So let's take a look here. Motorola's multi-touch keyboard on this one, and then you get Swipe pre-installed as well, and of course there are plenty of keyboard options like I just said in the Android market. Now again, 4.65-inch display here is going to make it pretty easy for somebody with larger hands to type on the screen. And of course the transition effects are a little bit slow, though we've heard from people in the past at Google that that's because you may be going down the road and you're moving your screen around like this. They don't want it to switch every single time because hey, it may have been an accidental portrait to landscape transition. Maybe I didn't mean to do that, maybe I meant to go back. Well, they give you the ability to kind of give you a few seconds before it transitions over. Now over here, 4-inch display, going to be a little harder to type on the screen itself, but you have a nice 5-row physical QWERTY keyboard. So let's take a look here. And this is one of my all-time favorite Android keyboards, and I'll say the Quick Brown Fox, because it's just so easy to type on. The autocorrect is really good. Quick Brown Fox is happy that it is almost the weekend. You can see autocorrect's pretty quick and easy, and then you have landscape mode as well. Again, only keyboard you get out of the box on this bad boy is the Ice Cream Sandwich keyboard, which in its Android 4.0 form right here is absolutely fantastic. When you do port it over, you download the application from the Android market. It's a little bit different. I noticed some lag from time to time. I mean, if you want the real experience, take a look at the Galaxy Nexus. Then over here, Motorola's multi-touch keyboard, Quick Brown Fox, is also one of my favorites. If I had to rank Android keyboards, I'd say Ice Cream Sandwich keyboard #1, multi-touch #2, probably Sense's keyboard a close third. At least in Sense 3.0, though we'll see how it looks when Sense 4 rolls out. But again, 5-row QWERTY keyboard, and if you're used to the Droid 2, the Droid 3, maybe even the original Droid, it's a little bit of a different keyboard here. You got your same D-pad layout, you got your same QWERTY style layout with a dedicated row up here for numbers. And I do like this keypad. A little bit of separation between the keys makes it easy to type on. Is happy that it is almost the weekend. That's what I was trying to say. Almost, not almost fat. Tina weekend. So again, pretty easy to type on. The Droid 3 happens to be still my preference when it comes to the original Droid lineup of keyboards, but still a great keyboard here, nice and tactile, and the keys are nice and large. You got all your commonly used stuff down here at the bottom as well. So if you're somebody that texts or sends a lot of emails, perhaps you're coming from BlackBerry and you're moving up to Android for the first time, you don't quite want to get rid of that physical QWERTY keyboard, this may be a nice alternative for you where you can still get that keyboard when you need it, but when you don't, you can slide it away and use it like a typical Android device.